Do you know ball?
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 Do you know ball? Episode 58, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back to the Do You Know Ball podcast. I am one of your hosts, Matthew DeGenero. I am joined here with Zachary Pappenberg. Zach, say hi to the lovely people.
What's going on, everybody?
And we are joined here today, once again, former Division III athlete and Rutgers sophomore, Jonathan Stevens. Jonathan, say hi.
Going on, everybody? Let's go. Let's have a good day today.
Johnny, Johnny's slowly entering into the fold. He might be a staple here, like a tomato, like ketchup, as those I remember. Johnny, what's your major? What are you majoring in, man?
As of right now, sports management, but that is very likely to change and probably is changing.
Okay. What are you thinking about? Just so
Uh,
the people know more about our new co-host, possibly, potentially.
Possibly Navy ROTC.
Cool.
Or
All right. Yeah. Why don't we go to the first topic? How about that? So, y'all ready for this? The MLB has a couple rookies that are just called up. Royals call up Jac Cagilone, and the Red Sox called up the number one prospect in baseball, Roman Anthony. One fun thing about Roman Anthony, as a Yankee fan, I can happily say, Roman Anthony had a very crucial error in his first major league game. Went down, to field a little grounder that was coming to him in the outfield and just totally misplayed it. That error kind of ended up losing them the game. Do either of you want to talk about that? Zach, you have Roman Anthony on your fantasy team. I feel like you are well equipped. Actually, you have both. You have Caglione and Roman Anthony. I feel like you are the person to talk about both of these up and coming rookies. Go ahead, Zach. Spout off. Tell us more about Jac Caglione. Tell us more about Roman Anthony. Let's hear it.
Okay, so starting off with Jack Cags, obviously he's been actually really good for the Royals since coming up. He started off a little slow, but that's to be expected with any rookie. It's going to take an adjustment period, and he's still technically adjusting. But as of the last couple days, last couple games, he's got like 32 at bats under his belt. Um, so he's sitting pretty good with the experience right now. He's getting more and more games under his belt, and also he's playing the Yankees too this series. So currently, so it that's really good because when you play the better teams, you obviously play the better competition. Ergo, you get more experience playing the better teams.
Yeah.
So Jack Cags has looked really good, especially in the last couple days. You know, he's gotten a hit in his last four games, I believe, and one of the games was a 4 for 4 day, which is really good. He's got his average up to like around sitting around like 250. I don't really know if you really want to go with his OPS right now because for the simple factor that it's still really early on and it really hard to judge it right now, but it's sitting at a little over 500 for his OPS or yeah, his OPS. So, but he's doing pretty good. He's doing pretty good to start off. Jack Cags, this is what we expected. He's got a lot of power. He's got a lot of pop, and he's bringing something special to the Royals. And the more he goes, the more he gets underway, the better he's gonna get. And
Mm-hmm.
I hope he actually turns out really good. And I think he's already gotten off to a great start. So I think he's just gonna continue on.
Yeah. I do want to let the people at home know Zach is very high on Jac Caglione. He traded Aaron Judge for him. Is that right, Zach?
I did.
Oh, well, Johnny's just learning about this. Johnny, whoa, Johnny's just learning about Johnny. What are your thoughts on that?
slow, very crazy, but okay. I'm sure there were
What
other. I'm sure there were other pieces.
What are your
There were.
thoughts on Pete Crow Armstrong?
Me,
Yeah.
sure. I don't really follow him. I know
All
he's,
right.
but
Do you want to know the full trade, Johnny?
yes, I would like to know the
Okay,
full.
it was what was it? It was Aaron Judge straight up, right? You traded just Aaron Judge?
Yeah.
Okay, it was Aaron Judge for Jac Caglione, Pete Crow Armstrong, and Mike Trout. What are your thoughts on that trade, Jonathan?
Well, Mike Trout's been healthy, but he hasn't been playing good. Pete
K-
Armstrong.
Hey, can I see your full face? Thank you. Show the world that beautiful face when you speak. There you go.
Uh, I don't
And you put your head down again.
built around him.
Okay.
Instead, I don't know why you trade him. He's the best player in baseball, but it's
Hmm.
depth. If you wanted depth, sure, you got what you wanted.
Okay. Well, I just want to know because that's Zach has both of these players on his team. He has a very young team, Jac Caglione and Roman Anthony. But we're not here to talk about fantasy. Jonathan, you want to add anything on Roman Anthony or Jac Caglione?
I'm not really a big follower of Rowan Anthony at all. I
Okay.
am Jac Cagilone. I
Okay.
watched him in college. I low key would glaze him a lot, as us kids say.
Okay.
He's a beast. He's huge. He has pop. He also throws fuzz. If anyone didn't know that, he was a two-way in college.
As a former collegiate athlete, can you define fuzz for those non-collegiate athletes?
Throws 95 plus. I mean,
Okay. It's good. Good thing we have you on the pod. Anything else?
that's it. That's all I got. I think he's
Okay.
gonna.
Good. Okay. Yeah, I got nothing to add. I got nothing to add. Zach is a lot more, well-rounded in this prospect field because he knows both of them personally.
I mean, I could
Personally.
I could also talk about Roman Anthony. I haven't done that yet. So,
Oh
I
yeah,
mean,
go for it, man. I talked about Roman Anthony a little bit,
yeah,
but
you
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 can.
touched on it. You touched on the error. That was probably one of the only downsides to his debut. His
Yeah.
past couple games, past two games, he's only played in two games. I think today's his third. Um, but speaking of plays in the field though, too, he did have a nice diving catch or a sliding catch in the outfield that was really good, really impressive. Showed his range. Um. And also, like I said, you can't with his at bats and stuff, obviously in average, you can't really look at his raw stats right now because he's again, the sample size is so small. He's only had 8 at bats, not including the ones he's going to get in the future when this video does come out. But currently he's only had 8 at bats. He got his first hit, first MLB hit yesterday, which was great. I think it was a double down the line. I believe it scored 2 runs as well. Great piece of hitting. This kid's a demon. He's going to be a real bright spot for the Red Sox going forward. Um, I get obviously why they're calling up their guys. They're obviously ready, and especially after Roman Anthony hit that 497-foot bomb in AAA the other night. He's ready. He's been ready for the competition. I just wish that the Red Sox were calling him up at a more convenient time because right now, like, they're like floating around mid-level. Like they're just like a mid team. They haven't really been good this entire season, and everybody's just sitting there kind of waiting
Hmm.
for them to blossom, to grow, and to show what kind of team they're actually made of, and they haven't done so yet. They just haven't been the big bad Red Sox that we used to know maybe a couple years ago. So, maybe Roman Anthony coming up and Marcelo Meyer and all those guys, Christian Campbell, um, those three coming up, and hopefully that could light a spark underneath the Red Sox. Hopefully they can turn things around. They could easily flip things around. There's a lot of baseball left. They could try to go after a wild card spot. Who knows? But it's gonna take a lot this year, 100%. But maybe calling up Roman Anthony was the last thing they needed, and maybe he'll give the team a much needed boost. What do you got? You got anything else on Roman Anthony, or do you want to just hand it off to Johnny for the next segment?
No, I mean, as a Yankee fan, I know I'm going to be seeing a lot of Roman Anthony, and I am not one to prey on the downfall of a young player. I never am, no matter what team, because I always think like if I was in that position, I would want to thrive. So um, I never look down on a young player. So hopefully Roman Anthony's good. He is the number one prospect for a reason. That error is just an error. He's going to make more in the future. Everyone does. But with that being said, I guess we could go on to the next segment. That's the only baseball segment we have for now. We're going to go into one football segment. I do want to mention before we, go any further, the NBA Finals are currently on right now. It is game three. The Pacers are up by 3 points, I believe. I have the game on the side just in case anything crazy or interesting happens. So we will give you guys a game three update of the NBA Finals towards the end of this pod, just so y'all know that we're not leaving out the NBA Finals. Of course, we're going to keep updating it. So with that being said, we're going to go right into our football segment. Johnny wants to talk about Aaron Rodgers being a Steeler. So Johnny, go away. The floor is yours, man.
All right. So Aaron Rodgers has been signed to a 1-year deal to the Steelers. He will be paired up with DK Metcalf. In interviews, he talked about how DK Metcalf, they were getting some work in this summer and how he's very respectful. Yes, sir. No, sir. Very polite. And that he's very confident that they will be a good duo this next 2025 season. I personally think uh, he will have a little bit of a better year than he was with the Jets. I'm still a little like I don't. The Steelers are gonna. I mean, they'll be all right. They're like one of those teams that's always like lingering around. They're always like battling for a wild card spot. They did finish second last year, but that's also partly due to how bad of a year the Bengals had, which I don't think will happen again this next year. Um, so I don't know. I think they'll finish third. I don't think it's like something that's going to make them a super team. It's partly also in due to the fact that the Steelers, for anyone who doesn't know, they drafted Will Howard, quarterback out of Ohio State, just won the Natty. So I'm sure a big part of it is, hey, let's get this veteran for a year. Let's show this kid the new ropes, similar to what the Giants are doing and what other teams have done in the past. And that'll develop him for a year. I don't think he'll come back. I think they'll be competitive, but they won't be like a crazy playoff team or they won't make a run. I don't know if they'll even make the playoffs because I don't think the Bengals will have as bad of a year as they did last year. But it's a good signing for developing Will Howard. And we'll see what DK Metcalf and him do.
Now, Johnny, I do want to ask you this because you are the football guy. In terms of Rodgers and like retirement, like when do you think he should decide to like hang up the cleats? Because obviously he's lost a step or two. And especially with the injuries and stuff, he's not the same Rodgers that everybody knows and loves. He can't really move out of the pocket like he used to. He just it's and that just comes with old age. That's just how it is. So when do you think that it should be time?
Honestly, I think if he has a mediocre year and doesn't make the playoffs, he should do it right then, like right after this year. I mean, it's like got to be a place of reality for him at this point. I mean, I really thought when he went to the Jets, I was like, all right, he probably has like 3 or 4 more good years with them, and that fell apart. So I don't see him playing for another 2 years. I really don't. He's not the same guy as you said, but uh, yeah, it's just we'll see. It's going to be a year by year thing with him, like we saw with Brady and all these other guys. If I'm willing to bet, I think after this year he'll be done. If he doesn't play as well and doesn't make the playoffs.
Right. So I do want to ask you a question. Would you take um 50-year-old Aaron Rodgers or current day Zachary Papenburg at quarterback?
You're comparing a 50-year-old pro to a kid that's never played football in his life. So
I don't know. Zach's got an arm.
he does.
Yeah.
A kid that also has a torn meniscus,
Well,
but
that don't matter.
I
You'll have a good line.
NFL quarterback.
That's crazy. I would take Zach personally.
all right, terrific. Deej, lead us into
A lot of random questions from Deej today, and a lot of
yeah.
Bro,
Deej.
it's come on, boys. Let's have some fun. It's summer, Let's lighten up. NBA finals are on. We work every day. Let's have some fun, right? So the next topic was supposed to be NBA finals. I'm gonna skip it. We're gonna come back to it. This one, I feel like I am well prepped. I feel like I have a lot of knowledge on this one. So let's go into the NBA. We're gonna talk about Kevin Durant. Arguably the greatest scorer of all time, whatever you want to call him. The Kevin Durant trade saga has officially become a little juicier than it already was. Reports are saying that Durant wants to be a San Antonio Spur. This move would pair KD with Victor Wembanyama, De'Aaron Fox. That big three would be pretty good, but is it enough to be championship contenders? I don't think so, and I will get into that. There are other reports already saying that the trade is a done deal. We don't really know any details. Would Stephon Castle be in it? Devin Vassell? We don't know the magnitude. Like the Spurs own the number 2 overall pick. Would they include the number 2 overall pick? I don't know. So we're going to get into that a little bit more as well. With all this in mind, if the Spurs do get Kevin Durant, what would be their ceiling? Given that it is the most likely scenario to happen, let's now start to dissect the package, right? So Zach, John, you can pitch in if you want. I have been seeing things that the Spurs are probably not giving up number 2, and I don't think they need to give up number 2 to get Kevin Durant, especially at this day and age. They do have a lot of picks. They do have a lot of flexibility. They have Devin Vassell, maybe Stephon Castle's in that trade. I mean, if you're keeping number 2, you're probably going to be drafting Dylan Harper. You do have De'Aaron Fox. You would have 3 guards there. I think you can trade one of them. I said in the past, I don't think all three of them on the same team together is really going to work out well. So if you can trade Castle and you want to bank on, Dylan Harper being an all NBA guy in the future, you can do that because you already know what you're going to get with De'Aaron Fox. That could be the headliner for a Kevin Durant trade, plus all the plethora of picks that the Spurs have. Zach, I see you're nodding your head. You seem to agree.
Yeah, I mean, obviously you're gonna have to give up something for Durant. You're gonna have to give
Hmm.
up a good amount for Durant because of the
Yeah.
caliber player that he is. But I do agree with you that, maybe there's a way that they don't have to give up the second round, the second pick in the draft. You know what I
Hmm.
mean? Like
I don't think they have to. I just don't think they
I
do.
agree with that mainly because Durant is up there in age. It's not like he's no spring chicken anymore.
Yeah.
He's
It's
older.
not
He's an
like,
older
yeah.
athlete.
Yeah.
So like maybe the Suns are still gonna ask for a lot for Durant, but maybe it's a little less because of that factor. Who knows? Who really knows? But definitely the Suns need to make this move. I feel like if they keep Durant and they go into another season with the same squad that they've had for the past couple or year or so, whatever, if they do that, if they do decide to do that, then I feel like they're just hurting the team because this is not going to work. It showed it last year. It was a team of Bradley Beal, Devin Booker, and Kevin Durant, along with some other pieces on that team mixed in. It's not going to work. It's not going to work. And you saw that last year. It was a disappointing year to say the least for the Suns. So now I would be looking to get younger. I would be looking to build my team around the person that's been a part of the franchise since the beginning. That's Devin Booker. Devin Booker should be the workaround. He's your catalyst. He's your face of the franchise. Build around him. If you build a solid team around him, I'm sure the winning will come right behind it because that's how talented he is, and he can amplify everybody else's play. So this deal needs to happen more so, honestly, for the Suns more than the Spurs need it. And again, it would be fun to see that trio in San Antonio.
Hmm.
I think everyone would agree on that. Fox, Wemby, and Durant. That's a dream team. That's a really
You
good
think it's
three.
a dream team, as in like you think championship contender? Because I don't think so.
I mean, it's
Because granted, they were injured a lot this year, but they were 13th in the West this year. I'm not really gonna include Dylan Harper as a factor because it's very rare when like a rookie makes a big impact like that. Um, yeah, they definitely make the playoffs. I don't know if I
yeah.
just don't see them as championship contenders. I feel like Johnny, you look like you want to give some insight.
I agree with you.
You do?
I don't think that, like I said this about the Knicks, like and all these other teams, it doesn't matter what a trio is, bro. Just because you have a good trio doesn't mean you're an NBA contender. We've like seen that.
Hmm. Yeah, I also the Spurs depth, they're very young. So I don't know if that is a championship contender. And it does tighten the window a little bit, but like if you keep two, you keep, all these young assets and picks, kind of like whatever you can get for Durant, like you're not really mortgaging the future. You put Wemby next to arguably the greatest scorer of all time. That could be a fun duo. And as we've seen this playoffs, we have the freaking Pacers in the finals. Anything can happen in the playoffs. People can get
Mhm.
hurt. People can take advantage of opportunities. So maybe the Spurs can make a run. But right now, if they do trade for Kevin Durant, I just don't see them as championship contenders. I don't. On the other hand, if like the Timberwolves got Kevin Durant, then I would change my mind. I would think that they could be championship contenders because I think the Timberwolves are just one piece away. They made
And
the conference.
they
What?
to get
What
Durant.
happened?
You're gonna have to give something up to get Durant.
It would probably like a sign and trade with Randall, and then you include like DiVincenzo or Conley, like whatever you got to do to make the money work. I think the Timberwolves are one piece away. They've made the conference finals what 2 years in a row, and they just can't seem to, or two out of the last 3 years, they just can't seem to get over that hump. And I think adding Kevin Durant to that team could really help them. And I think they would be an absolutely nasty team.
I
But
agree. I agree with that too because
yeah,
they have the star player, they have the face of the franchise in Anthony Edwards, and they have the depth to back it up. So
hmm,
if you add, it's
yeah,
not to Johnny's point, saying that not every team it's not always all about the big three, which he's right. It's not always about the big three. It's
Yeah,
about
Johnny Cooks.
mainly it's about depth. It's mainly what you have on the bench that could give the star players a rest, that can go in and actually contribute.
Mhm.
Timberwolves are probably gonna have to give up some of that depth to get Kevin Durant unless they have a
All
draft.
right, okay, so let's see. Obviously, you swap out Randall for Kevin Durant, right? So that's nothing, right? Mike Conley is 50 million years old. You're not really losing much. And I know a lot of Timberwolves fans don't really want Conley either. Conley can't really produce too much anymore at this point in his career. And then you'd be giving up DiVincenzo. Unless you have to throw in Rob Dillingham in that trade, who didn't really get much playing time anyway this year. But if you trade Conley, I imagine he becomes the new guard. I think that's a perfectly fine package. If they can keep Daniel, if I'm stuttering, but like I just think it's a good trade. I think that's a good trade for them.
I think the Suns also need some depth too, so I think that's something.
The Suns need Jesus, Johnny. They need a lot. Okay, they don't need depth. They need everything.
Still have Book, they can build around him.
I don't know. They don't have any of their draft picks. If you didn't make the playoffs with Beal, Durant, and Book, why would you make like how are you going to be competitive without Kevin Durant? I just don't see it. I think they had a great team in Booker, McCall, Cam Johnson, Aiton, Chris Paul. Like that was a squad. And you had the depth. You had Jay Crowder and you had Peyton. Like
That was the 21 year, right? That was the year they made it to the finals. That team.
that, yeah, that was a squad. And then they added Kevin Durant to that team, and that team was still good, and they blew it up for frickin' Bradley Beal. So that's on them. That is
Yeah,
entirely on them.
Bradley Beal would probably is going to go down as one of their worst moves. I don't know. I don't know about in history. That might be a stretch, but it may be up there. I'm not gonna lie because
Like
Bradley Beal is just a dud right now. He
that,
really
yeah,
is.
that is the trade that killed the Phoenix Suns, straight up.
Speaking of other teams, though, let's just roll right into the Giannis segment. Deej,
hmm
take it away.
Oh, Zach, you want to say this line? Nah, we don't need to.
Nah, nah, we can't. We
All
can't. But
right,
we'll include it. We'll
we
include it
will.
in the vid.
So for those that have been keeping up with your favorite podcast, the Dino Ball podcast, we've been talking about Giannis at least the last 2 weeks. Reports saying, where's Giannis going to go? Where's he going to get traded? What's the best fit for Giannis? Guess what? Giannis wants to stay a Milwaukee Buck. He said over Twitter, he said to reporters, he wants to remain in Milwaukee. On his Twitter, he said he wants to be back in the NBA Finals and was referring to doing that with the Milwaukee Bucks. And other reporters, Brian Windhorst, other reporters have been saying that the trade discussions have stalled as there is no market for Giannis Antetokounmpo. So it seems honestly that Giannis is going to stay a Buck. I personally cannot say I'm surprised. Do I think the Bucks should trade Giannis? Based off the rumored reports of potential packages, like especially that Rockets package of like Reed Shepard, Cam Whitmore, Jalen Green, Jabari Smith plus picks. Maybe even Alperen Sengun is in that trade in place of one person. Yeah, I would trade Giannis for that. But they're going to keep Giannis. I can't say I'm not surprised. Giannis is a very loyal guy. If he honestly retires a Buck, would not be surprised. But, I don't necessarily agree with it. I do think they should capitalize on it because, Middleton's gone. Dame is going to be done for like the whole year, I believe. He has an Achilles injury. So you're not going to get Dame that you paid for and everything else. Like Kuzma has been poop, like to put it lightly. Like Kuzma has not been great. Brooke Lopez is going to leave. The team has no young core, no picks, no future. So they're not in a great scenario despite having one of the best players in the NBA. And you can change that whole trajectory by trading him. But, that's the Bucks decision. I'm sure Bucks fans are happy that, they get to keep Giannis. I've lost plenty of my star players throughout my sporting career, so good for Bucks fans. Johnny, you look like you're dying to add something to this.
No, not really. I mean,
Oh, okay. I guess I
happy
misinterpreted your.
because now I know that the Knicks aren't going to do something stupid to get him.
Okay. So okay, but actually that's a good question. So if the Knicks are not going after Giannis, what do they? The Knicks segment is next. This is going to be a good segue, unless Zach wants to add anything. But
I mean, I'll keep it pretty brief when it comes to talking about Giannis because we did just talk about this in the
yeah,
last pod
we
too,
talk about
and
Giannis a lot. Yeah, we
yeah,
should.
this is a little bit of an update. So with the Bucks situation and with Giannis, I fully agree that it's more so. I feel like their situation is more comparable to the Suns in a way maybe not as bad, but it's sort of
Yeah.
a similar situation. Like you tried it, you tried the Dame and Giannis combo, and it didn't work. And it there's many reasons why it didn't work, mainly because the two really, I mean, you could argue that the two really never got a chance to be fully on the court for definitely not for a full year because either one or the other was on the IL. It was like or on the IL on the yeah on the
Yeah,
injured list.
we
But
got you. We got you.
so it's a tough decision, but I think for the Bucks' sake, I think if they got a haul of young players along with picks and along with whatever else that people are putting together, like you said, a trade package with the Rockets would have been great. Um, any of those young teams that already have the depth, already have what they need, and are looking for that just one more star to push them over the edge. If I was the Bucks, I'd be contacting them. I really would, especially even just hearing a little bit of that Rockets trade. I'd be contacting them. I'd
That's
be
a
hitting them up
mhm.
immediately. They'd be the number one hit up.
That's a
Um,
great young core that you can get
so
right there.
I think the Bucks are foolish for not trading him and keeping him because, like you said, Dame is out next year, so you already are already out for like majority of next year at least. So that's already out of the question. There's no Dame and Giannis duo to begin the year. So how are they going to start off the year? Probably not that great.
Mm.
Probably not that great. So that's all I really have to say on Giannis and the Bucks. And I just really think that he should get traded
Yeah.
and they should rebuild.
So now I do want to segue that kind of into the Knicks a little bit because Johnny is happy that the Knicks can't do anything stupid. So Johnny, if the Bucks, or sorry, if the Knicks cannot get Giannis Antetokounmpo, what's the next move for them? What are they going to do? How are they
Well,
going to improve the
that's
squad?
the scary thing because no one really knows. And yeah, obviously you're gonna get a new coach. I don't know who. People have said,
That's the next segment. We'll get into that.
so you want me to hold off?
Don't talk about the coach, but like talk about like how they can
I
improve the
don't know.
roster.
I think they should keep the starting five you have, whether you want it to be Brunson, uh, Josh Hart, Bridges, OG, Cat, or if you want to switch them over and put Mikal Bridges at the four and move, I think it's Mikal to the two,
Mhm.
OG at two, whatever the case may be,
Okay.
uh, and just get depth. That's why, like, I've said this countless times. Just get depth. It's not that hard. You have the starting five. That is a great starting five team. You were the three seed. There's no need to shake up the roster. There's just not. So I don't understand why like everyone's like, oh well, what should the Knicks do? Get depth. That's all you need. We made the Eastern Conference Finals.
Hmm.
What do you need else? Like you don't need to do much else. It's so confusing to me. It's so
Hmm.
frustrating.
Yeah. And I was honestly going to ask you, do you think they should trade for Kevin Durant? But we did talk about that in the last pod, and I did say that they shouldn't because that would tighten their window. So I still stand by that. I don't think Kevin Durant will make that team any better. Especially they'd have to give up. I mean, I'm sure Phoenix would love to reunite with Macau. I'm sure it'd be like some type of Macau something else swap, maybe Cat. I mean, that's not bad for Phoenix, I guess, right? I mean, I don't know. You
Horrible.
get I mean, and like, look, I mean, you bring McCall back, who put him back with D Book. They know how to play with each other, and you get Cat. I mean, it's not bad. It's not. Are they contenders? No, not by any means, but that's not bad. I don't know what a Kevin Durant trade would look like at all. So,
It'd be rough. It'd be rough for the Knicks to actually put together a trade for Durant because,
hmm
yeah. And then thinking about it now, yeah, you're right. It does tighten their window. So
hmm
I don't know. I don't even know what they would begin to offer besides like what you said, McCall and Cat, and that seems to be the catalyst along with whatever other picks they do have under their belt for any sort of big deal with a superstar. But
hmm
I gotta agree with Johnny there.
The
hmm
I
only sense it would
he,
make to get a superstar is if they had picks, and they don't have picks.
they just defeated not only made it
Wait,
to the Eastern Conference Finals, they also defeated the Boston Celtics.
the Knicks don't have picks. Where are the Knicks picks?
They have second round picks. They don't have any first.
Where are the Knicks first round picks?
I have no idea.
Oh, I do. The Brooklyn Nets own them for the next 7 years.
There you go.
See what I did there?
Great.
Love that. Love that little friendly Friendly jab right there.
Did have picks, you would probably get a superstar and then move Hart to
Yeah.
the
What they traded for Mikal Bridges is what they should have traded for Giannis or Kevin Durant if they wanted to. But they have Mikal on their team. There's no going back. So now they're screwed. They have no way to improve this team unless they get lucky. Maybe they get Durant for nothing. Maybe Giannis changes his mind and they get Giannis for nothing. I don't know.
they're just gonna have to find guys in the draft that can hopefully be good role players, and if not, they're cooked. A
Hmm.
coach isn't gonna change the team. I'm sorry, it's not.
Well, okay. Since we're kind of yapping and we're still talking about the Knicks, why don't we just segue into the next one, Johnny? Right now, the Knicks are looking for a head coach. They fired Tibbs. It seemed that they had somewhat of a backup plan to hire another team's head coach instead of going out and seeing someone that was unemployed. So they went and requested an interview with Chris Finch, who is the head coach for the Timberwolves, and Ime Udoka, who's the head coach for the Rockets. They were denied both. Then they tried to interview Jason Kidd of the Dallas Mavericks and Quinn Snyder of the Atlanta Hawks and Billy Donovan of the Chicago Bulls. They were denied again. They are currently 0 for 5 in their search for head coach. 0 for 5. What happened?
As for Doc Rivers,
No, who wants Doc Rivers? Are we joking here? 0 for 5. Call me Juan Soto. Am I right?
No, you're not right.
He's farming the Rockies, farming the Nationals. We won't get into it right now, but I'm not wrong. Anyway, the Knicks are. They fired Tibbs. The Knicks fired Tibbs, and to me, it seems like they did not have a plan. They are trying to lure away another team's head coach. I don't see why. Ime Udoka has this incredible young core who was just the second seed in the Western Conference this past year. You have Chris Finch, who is doing a perfectly fine job in Minnesota and has a championship level roster that he's coaching. I mean, Jason Kidd, like Jason Kidd is not like necessarily a great head coach. He's not terrible either. He's like mid. Quinn Snyder's a good head coach, but obviously, Atlanta's not going to let him go. Trae Young really likes Quinn Snyder, so there's no point in getting rid of Quinn Snyder. And Billy Donovan, like the Knicks are. I don't think Billy Donovan's that great of a head coach. The fact that the Knicks are so desperate to try and get Billy Donovan and still get rejected, that's funny to me. That is super funny. So I don't care personally. I'm rocking with Jordy Fernandez in Brooklyn. I'm living life. Johnny, this is all you again. And I'll let Zach give his opinions too. But like who do you want the Knicks to go get? They have no plan. I feel like they fired Tibbs and didn't have a backup. So what did they do?
I don't know. I said like jokingly before this pod started, like, oh well, maybe let's go get. And I also heard this on WFAN that the Knicks should make an offer to Don, what's the UConn coach Dan Hurley. Uh, and like, oh, he didn't because there was talk of him becoming a coach in the NBA before, and he declined that offer and stayed to coach at UConn. So I really don't know. To all these Knicks fans that are saying we shouldn't have Tibbs and we need to move on, what's your plan? What is it? I like it. I don't know what it is. Tibbs brought us made us relevant again. Obviously, having the players he had helped, but like, what's your plan? I don't know what we had a golden opportunity this year, and the better team won. It's not Tibbs's fault. I don't know what you want him to do. Like he plays our starters too much, and we're gonna
Mhm.
get hurt. I mean, sure. What other coach? I promise you, whatever coach we do get, there's gonna be something to complain about. There always is. There's no perfect coach out there. So what is your plan? Tell
Mhm.
me.
You know, I did see a rumor or a report, don't know how true it is, that they might interview Luke Walton for the head coach. Do you know who Luke Walton is, Johnny?
Don't.
Zach, do you know Luke Walton?
I know who Luke Walton is. Yes.
Dude, he's not a good head coach.
Yeah. I don't know where their minds are at on that. But I guess I'll just give my quick opinions on this because we do have some breaking news
We do have
technically.
breaking news.
And it's gonna get crazy. So buckle up for the last segment. Um, in terms of their new head coach, we talked about this a little bit last week, and I think they're really gonna have to go the free agent route. Like you said, Deej, they're 0 for 5 right now on coaches. They're already locked up with teams. They it's not gonna work. It's not gonna happen. And you know what? Maybe I'll add to that list another name. I've seen Eric Spoelstra tossed around. I've seen
Oh, really? I
I've
have not
seen
seen that.
I've seen him tossed around a little bit as a potential option. maybe they go out and grab him from Miami, but I think the main route where they could potentially go and where they should go is maybe they could go out and get. I feel like either Mike Malone or Taylor Jenkins would be work perfectly fine for them. Mike Malone especially. He's got the playoff experience. He's won a championship. He could probably be a really good coach for the Knicks, Mike Malone. So I hope that they, you know, go after one of them and attack one of them instead of trying to go after, coaches who are already locked up with these teams. Like it's never gonna work. So if you know that going into it and you didn't really have a plan, there's your plan. Your plan's out there. There's free agent coaches everywhere you look. And there's good ones out there too. So I would, if I'm the Knicks, I'd be looking at mainly those two because again, Mike Malone's got the experience. He's been a pretty good coach in the past, and you know what? He could probably bring a lot to the table with if he joins the Knicks this next coming year. Or you go after Taylor Jenkins, who I thought really didn't deserve to get fired
Mm-hmm.
because again, it was really close to playoff time. You shook up the roster because people are used to being coached by the same guy for the whole year, and when you make a sudden change like that and you throw in a new guy, it could ruin a lot. It could ruin a lot of team chemistry. It could affect the way they play on the court. It could do a lot. It could do a lot of damage to a team. They were in a good spot with Taylor Jenkins, so I don't see why they fired him, but maybe the Knicks could look more into that and maybe give him an opportunity to be the head coach next year. That's where my head's at with
Yeah.
head coaches for the Knicks. We'll see what they get though. But breaking news out of the out of the NBA. But NBA Finals, like we said, it's been going on. Game three was tonight, and that just finished up, and the Pacers did it again. I can't even believe I'm uttering those words right now
Why are you
because
disrespecting Indiana, bro?
Tell
you
you
know
what,
what?
I can't. I can.
Go ahead.
I
Go
told
ahead.
you it's gonna go to seven, Zach. Just be ready for it. It's gonna.
Hey,
It's gonna go to 5. Are you crazy?
if Indiana pulls it off in five, I said it earlier to one of our buddies. Game three is a really pivotal game for many reasons. Obviously, because main reasons because the series is tied, and whoever wins the next game really gets a bigger advantage. Because if the Pacers did lose this game, it puts them in a bad position because they have to win game four. But I think the Thunder are in a very rough spot right now. I mean, you have to play one more in Indiana, and if they somehow come out with that, the series is over. But it's a must-win game now in Indiana to just to have the series be tied up going back to OKC, and it's gonna be rough. I mean, I didn't I fully expected the Thunder to really blow them out. I mean, I had the Thunder winning in either four or five. Obviously, that's not happening, and that I knew that wasn't happening after game one, and I saw the way that ended. So Halliburton had a great night. I'll just read off his stats real quick. He had 22 points, 9 rebounds, 11 assists, and shot over 50% from the field, which is great. I mean, he didn't take as many shots in game two, and he only ended up with 22 or not 22 points. Sorry, 17 points. He only ended up with 17 points in game two. Um, but it's not like he shot the ball terrible. I believe he was like 7 for 13. So I guess he just maybe got a few extra shots, and that's what he does. He contributes to the team. He's a playmaker. That's the beauty of Halliburton's game is he doesn't
Mhm.
really need to score. He doesn't need to see the ball go through the hoop. It just doesn't need to happen. He's a very good facilitator, and he's very good at bringing the rest of his team up, and he doesn't play selfish basketball. And that's why the Indiana Pacers are where they are this year, along with the other guys that contributed to that,
Mhm.
like Pascal Siakam, who was the Eastern Conference Finals MVP. And you know what? They're a gritty team. They're a gritty team, and they shocked me, and I'm sure they're shocking a lot of the world right now because I guarantee you, most people who are competent and who are NBA fans had the OKC winning, and that's just not how it's going right now. So again, like you said earlier, Deej, anything can happen in the playoffs. Anything. And that's the Pacers are living that right now. Anything can happen. So I'll give it to you. Deej, what's your thoughts on this first?
Honestly, I'm in like the mindset, as everyone knows, I am a Pacers fan for the next week and a half. I don't want to speak too much because I'm gonna get my hopes up and nothing ever goes right for me. Johnny knows no one has it worse, right, Johnny?
Yep.
All right. Right. No one has it worse than me. So I'm not going to get my hopes up. But Zach covered, a lot. I will say, just don't count the Pacers out. I wish I stuck with my guess. I told Zach, Johnny, I changed my answer to what? Thunder in six or whatever. That was my PR answer. That was my I don't want to get flamed online answer. My real answer was in my heart, Pacers in four. I should have stuck. Obviously, it's impossible for be Pacers in four, but I should have stuck with that. I really should have stuck with that. I believe Pacers are taking it. I think Zach said it perfectly. I think Game Three is very pivotal. Because now even if they do lose, it's a tie game, a tie series, not tie game. It's a tie series. If they lose the next one, it's just still huge. At least they're not going to OKC down 3-1. If you go back to OKC, you're still tied. They already took one in OKC. What's stopping them from taking another one in OKC? That is a huge win for Indiana. Like Zach said, Halliburton, he don't need to score. He just needs to do the other things. He dishes. He's clutch when he needs to be. We're going to be seeing that game one game winner for years. For years. That's going to be one of the clutchest shots we'll remember, especially if the Pacers go on to win the NBA Finals. You also have, the just incredible depth of Siakam and Turner and Mathurin and Nemhard and McConnell. I'm glazing. I'm just glazing. Neesmith, like the team is just so good. And like it's crazy when you look at the Thunder roster because that team is so good too. They have the MVP, Shea Gilgeous-Alexander. That team is stacked, and they will win a championship within the next couple of years. Hopefully before the apron kicks in and they have to trade everyone. But this year it's going to be the Indiana Pacers. I'm confident in it. I think my Pacers they're gonna pull it out. I need a championship. I haven't watched a championship in my lifetime. This would be great. This would be other than the New York Liberty and the '09 Yankees, but too young for the '09 Yankees. Pacers in five. Johnny,
I agree. I mean, no, I don't agree.
this
Sorry.
guy.
I still
You
stand on.
know two words. I
Oh,
agree.
no, sorry. I didn't mean to say that. Sorry. I was looking at stats, so I got distracted. I
Okay.
still think that the Thunder will win in seven. Um, I said earlier that when the series was starting that the Pacers were a really good team and they're not going to go down lightly, like we're seeing,
Mm.
by the way. A lot of people in the comments on TikTok want
They
this.
they disrespect the Pacers, bro.
So don't and again, the Thunders are also just as good, if not better, than them. So they will not. I think they're going to respond tomorrow. I don't think they're gonna let them go back home down a game. Uh, I think Shea's been playing pretty well. I don't know what his line was this game, but yeah, I think they're gonna respond tomorrow. I think it's gonna be a clash every game, and it's gonna come down to the wire every fourth quarter.
All
Yeah,
right.
it's definitely going to be interesting to see how this shakes out. If the Pacers do win, I don't know. I don't know. It would just leave me personally speechless. Like I really fully expected the Thunder to win, and a lot of people around the world had the same opinion and thought the same way. But anything can happen in the playoffs, and that's where we'll leave this pod. Anything can happen in the playoffs. So that wraps up episode 58 of the Do You Know Ball podcast. We will catch you guys next week for episode 59. We will see you guys next time.